What is going on, YouTube people? Interesting one today. As we all know, or maybe some of you all don't know, CT scanning has been in the news in both Pokemon and sports cards for a decent chunk of the last 6 to 8 months. Since last summer, it has kind of taken both hobbies by storm. For those that don't know, basically the gist is you could take boxes of cards, sports, Pokemon, etc., stick them in a CT scanner, and they can pretty much tell you every single card that is in a box, a case, a pack, doesn't matter. And before people start saying about how impossible this is, there are literally companies offering this service. There is a company, I believe, out of Michigan, that's the one that was used here, that you could pay them a fee, send them the item, they will scan it for you. You send it to them in a secured package, they scan it for you and send it back and give you a report of what is essentially in that box. They send you the images and the software to go through them, and you can see what is in there. Now, some products are easier to scan than others. Now, in 98% of instances, this would be a pretty bad thing because people are essentially abusing this. They are sending a high-end product in, and this is mostly targeted towards high-end product. You are sending it in, they're having it scanned, then getting it back, seeing that there might not be any hits in it, and then they could be like, oh, well, cool, there's no big hits in this box, I'll sell this. And then, rinse and repeat, and maybe they find one that has a bunch of hits in it. In a Pokemon case, maybe it has an extra Charizard in a first edition box that, it has an extra one in there, and it doesn't have any at all. And then they can make a more informed decision based off of that. Obviously being extremely shady about it 98% of the time. Well, we finally have a good use of CT scanning. Goldin has a first edition, I believe this is Chinese box, up in their latest auction. And what they did was they sent it off to the CT scanning company and had them scan it and verify the contents were legit. So essentially, it's almost like a authentication process. Like you send an auto in to get verified by somebody, but in this case, 100% for sure that what is in there is what is in there. Now, they are not disclosing what is like the individual cards that are in the box. They're just verifying that, yes, this is indeed what it states it is on the outside. The box has not been opened and resealed, which, if you remember back to the Logan Paul thing, that was a case of resealed boxes. In this instance, everything is on the up and up. And by the way, we have the proof to go with it. This is like the best case use for this technology on the side of good, is these high-end boxes getting scanned and then verifying the contents inside of it and then throwing it up for auction. The only asterisk I will put on this is whoever's doing the scanning, the company, you are trusting those individuals that they will, because they have the information. Though the information is not shared publicly, it's also not shared with the auction house. The article states down in the context, shout out Ben Burrows from Collect, that none of this information goes to Goldin Auctions either. So the auction house has no idea what's in the box other than it is legitimate content. So they don't know how many of each individual hollow or rare or whatever are in the box. They just know that everything checks out, everything matches. But someone at the scanning company knows. Probably a couple of people would have access to the information. Whoever did the verification, they would know. And that is valuable information. Now, would a company sink itself when this could potentially be massive business for them on leaking that out to someone? I personally don't think so, but I am just noting it as a possible concern. Someone inside that building knows what's inside that box. Maybe that box is loaded. Maybe there's an extra Zard in there. Maybe it's loaded up with something else. They could potentially pass that information on to someone and say, hey, listen, this box is insane. Like, loaded. Go get it. Because the other thing, too, you could tell from CT scanning is centering. They can actually, in some cards, they can actually determine the centering just from the CT scan. So not only could you be like, hey, man, there's 3 Zards in here, and they are on point with centering. They look good for centering. You wouldn't be able to tell surface, I don't believe, and some other stuff. You wouldn't be able to tell if like a corner has whitening on it, I don't think. Maybe they can, I don't know, but you could definitely see centering on a lot of cards. So someone could give someone a little nudge and be like, hey, that Pokemon box in the Goldin auction, wink wink, you know, without even actually fully, they wouldn't even have to really say what's in it. They could just say it's pretty good. That's a good box, you know, and that would be enough to entice some people to chase it a little bit harder. Like I said, would the scanning business risk that? I don't know. But as we all know, individuals do dumb stuff all the time. Maybe in this case, the money wouldn't be worth it. But if they continue to do this and this business continues to expand, that would be my one concern, is would that information leak somewhere? How tightly is that info locked down on the scanning company side that someone just can't willy-nilly get in there and look at it and see what's in the box while it's running at auction? So to me, it will be intriguing to watch to see, does this get a massive premium since the people bidding on it know it is 1000% legit. There is no questions about this. There's no guesswork. There is nothing. You know that box is legit. And if this works, it could change the high-end sealed wax market. If you could start sending boxes in to get them certified that it is legitimate, I think that would give you a massive edge over boxes that were not certified, cases that weren't certified. And I'm talking like extremely high-end stuff here. I'm not talking about a box of Brilliant Stars or Temporal Forces or Paldea Evolved or Surging Sparks, even Evolving Skies. I don't know what makes sense for this, at least right now. Maybe in 10 years, different story, but right now. So something to keep an eye on. An interesting use case for CT scanning, actually, on the positive side, not the negative side. But like I said, there's a little something to keep an eye on there. But will be fascinating to follow this along and see where this box ends up at price-wise. This is not my area of expertise at all. I do not follow vintage Pokemon, let alone foreign vintage Pokemon. So we'll see what it goes for, and if that is a premium over other recent sales of similar boxes. So that's all I got for you, boys and girls. You can follow this auction along over at the upcoming Goldin auction over on Goldin Marketplace. Kenny G, you'll be out there pumping this thing to the moon and back again like he's supposed to do. So that's all I got. Catch you, boys and girls, on the next one. Peace.